We're exposing 10 of the worst American trucks that destroyed their makers and left drivers stranded. These aren't just bad trucks. They're the mechanical nightmares that killed entire companies. If you lived through the golden age of trucking, you'll remember why these disasters became cautionary tales. Hit that like button because we're diving into buried automotive history that Detroit wishes would stay forgotten. The 1986 Ford CL9000 looked futuristic with its sleek tilt cab and sloped windshield, built to modernize long-haul trucking. But its bold design hid serious flaws. Frame flex issues, leaky cab seals, and cooling system failures made it unreliable. Drivers grumbled about the bumpy ride, noisy interior, and cramped cab that turned long trips into torture. Despite engine options like Cummins and Detroit diesel, poor build quality overshadowed any strengths. Ford aimed to rival Freightliner and Kenworth, but fell short. By the early 90s, production ended, leaving the CL9000 as a well-meaning but flawed experiment in trucking history. The 1980 International Harvester Transstar II had a commanding squared-off look, promising heavy-duty reliability, but it was a victim of International Harvester's late 70s struggles. Overcomplicated wiring, temperamental diesel engines, and a harsh ride made it a driver's nightmare. Maintenance was a hassle with costly, hard-to-find parts, and fuel economy was poor even for its time. As the company faced strikes and financial woes, the Transstar II became a symbol of their decline. It couldn't keep up with competitors, and by the mid-80s, International Harvester's truck division was history. Today, the Transstar II is a bulky reminder of a brand that lost its way. The 1974 GMC Astro 95 aimed to dominate the cab-over market with its bold grille and high-mounted cab. But its futuristic looks couldn't hide its flaws. The cabin was noisy, poorly insulated, and cramped, making long hauls exhausting. Mechanics dreaded its tight engine bay, frequent electrical issues, and early frame fatigue. Though it offered Detroit diesel engines, constant repairs outweighed any benefits. GM hoped to outshine Freightliner and International, but the Astro 95 lagged behind. By the late 70s, it was fading, now remembered more as a museum piece than a road warrior. The 1959 Chevrolet Viking 40 looked tough with its bold lines and heavy-duty stance, meant for medium-duty work, but it suffered from an identity crisis, stuck between light-duty pickups and true haulers. Its inline-6 and V8 engines were underpowered for heavy loads, leading to early wear. The stiff suspension and slow manual gearbox frustrated drivers, and the cabin lacked comfort. Odd parts compatibility made repairs tricky, and buyers found it unsuitable for serious work. By the mid-60s, the Viking name was gone, a forgettable chapter in Chevy's history, rarely seen today. The 1982 Chevrolet Bison was GM's last shot at the heavy-duty Class 8 market, sporting powerful engines like Detroit diesel and Caterpillar. But its outdated cab design and poor aerodynamics let it down. Drivers faced a rough ride, cramped sleeping quarters, and rattling interiors. GM's dealer network struggled to support truckers, and parts shortages were common. Unable to keep up with Kenworth and Freightliner, GM axed heavy truck production by 1986. The Bison is now a rare sight, not for its value but because it couldn't compete in a fast-evolving industry. The 1988 Freightliner FLT cabover tried to keep cabovers relevant as conventional cabs took over. Its boxy frame and sturdy engines weren't enough to save it. Drivers hated the rough ride, hot cabin, and basic interior that made long trips grueling. Tight engine access and fragile wiring caused endless maintenance woes. Outdated from the start, the FLT couldn't match modern competitors. By the early 90s, it was obsolete, a stubborn relic of a fading cab-over era that few drivers miss. The 1965 Chevrolet C50 was pitched as a versatile medium-duty truck for farms and industry, with a rugged look and multiple engine options. But weak brakes, stiff suspension, and heavy manual steering made it a chore to drive. Its inline 6 and V8 engines struggled under load, and poor fuel economy frustrated owners. Rust and frame issues appeared early, and build quality disappointed. The C50 felt outdated soon after release, and most were worked into oblivion, leaving it as a faded memory of unmet potential. The 1982 GMC General was GM's flagship Class 8 truck, boasting Cummins and Detroit diesel engines and a tough exterior. But it fell apart on the road. Poor cab ergonomics, excessive noise, and a bone-rattling ride frustrated drivers. GM's limited support network made parts and service a headache, alienating fleet owners. Outclassed by Freightliner and Kenworth, the General couldn't keep up. GM ended heavy truck production soon after, and the General remains a symbol of a failed last stand. The 1983 General M915 was built for military logistics, looking every bit the rugged hauler. But reliability was its Achilles heel. Its Cummins engine was solid, but a weak transmission, poor suspension, and brake issues plagued it. The cab was noisy, hot, and uncomfortable, and rear axles failed under heavy loads. Electrical and hydraulic problems kept mechanics busy. Unlike General's successful Humvee, the M915 was a letdown, now mostly found in surplus lots. That's our rundown of 10 trucks that crashed and burned despite big promises. Which one shocked you most? Ever driven one of these duds? Share in the comments. If you love automotive history and epic fails, hit subscribe for more. Thanks for riding along, and we'll catch you next time.